Hey, how's it going? My name's Noah, aka Jaylang, and today we're back making beats in Reason 14. I want to try to make a beat that could fit on a Pink Pantheress album, something that wouldn't sound out of place on Fancy That or Heaven Knows. So let's jump straight into Reason 14 and start cooking up. If you don't know, Pink Pantheress is a singer and producer out of the UK, and she's been pretty open about the influence of UK music from the early 2000s on her own style. There are a bunch of great interviews that she's done where she's talked about this exact idea, but there's one clip in particular that's given me a good idea for a good starting point for my own beat.
Out of the UK, in the male category of R&B, I have very few male vocalists that I will say that I regard to be the absolute top of the top, the top of the top.
Okay.
Daniel Bedingfield is one of them.
Fair.
So I went through Daniel Bedingfield's catalog and I found this song.
If you're not the one, then why does my soul feel glad today?
I thought about sampling this track directly, which Pink Pantheress has done in a lot of her music, but I think instead I just want to interpolate the melodies of that guitar and synth. I'll grab an NN19 digital sampler, and then if I go into the track panel and then press this arrow, it'll take me into the rack. In here, I can try to find a good acoustic guitar patch. Then I'll just record in that same guitar melody. I want to try to match the pad chords behind the guitar as well. I'll grab a polytone and grab a random pad for now. I'll control click and drag so I can duplicate this clip, and then I'll just take these exact notes from the guitar melody and then kind of reform them into the pad chords. Now that I have the notes figured out, I can find a patch that I like a little bit better. That's better. So now if you compare the original sample to what I have, it sounds like this.
You're not the one, then why does my soul feel glad today?
I like the sounds that I've chosen, but I think I want to pitch both of them down a couple semitones just so I can start to move in a different direction now. So I can get rid of the original sample and I'll jump up the BPM to something way faster, like 155. With this new tempo figured out, I think I want to go straight to the drums next and figure out that groove. And then I'll come back and add a bunch more melodic layers after. When you listen closely to the drums in her music, Pink Pantheress often pulls from genres like UK garage, house, and jungle. Jungle relies a lot on chopping up drum breaks and then playing them at a high tempo, so I think that'll work really well for the beat that I have in mind. I'm gonna grab a Dr. Octo Rex loop player, go into the rack, sort by drum machines and loops, and DMB, and then I can choose the drum loop that I want to chop up. I like this one. I'll make a new clip and then I can literally draw in how I want the chop to sound. Here's what I came up with. I want to beef up the drums a little bit, so I'll add an osmium distortion matrix, and there are some cool drum patches in here that I like. Try this one. No, this one. I think honestly, I'm going to cut out some of the low end and then just layer my own kick underneath. And then I want to add like a shaking tambourine sound to layer with that drum loop as well. So just search up tambourine, samples. Sounds good to me. And then with the new tempo match feature in Reason 14, once I dragged in the tambourine sample, it auto adjusted to jump from 120 BPM to 155 BPM, which is nice. And then I'll just use the new looped clips feature as well, and just click and drag the top right hand corner to duplicate it. And we're looking good. Command J to join these kick sounds and hear the drum sounds. So with everything I've got all together, this is what it sounds like. I think now I want to add a bass line before I really get into adding all those extra synth sounds. So I'm going to grab a monotone bass synthesizer and check out some of the patches. This one sounds dope. Now I'm going to record in the bass line so it lines up with those kicks. As I've alluded to throughout the video, I now want to find 2 or 3 different synth patches to layer underneath the original acoustic guitar and synth pad chords. I've noticed that a lot of Pink Pantheress songs start out pretty sparse with just a few instruments and her voice, and then once you hit the drop or the hook of the song, that's where everything kind of sounds bigger and grander. And I think that's a lot to do with layering. So that's kind of what I'm trying to replicate by then kind of building up these sounds so that once the drop hits, they're even bigger and better than ever. So let's start with the guitar arpeggio and then find some patches. I used this grain patch in the last video I did for Reason, this Voices Aha patch, and it's just so good. But I think I actually want to drop it down an octave. So it's just kind of subtly sitting behind the guitar. Almost kind of sounds like a reverb. Back in the NN19 sampler, I really like this Mel Strings patch. And instantly, I think I want to add this quartet chorus ensemble effect onto it, just to give it a little bit of wobble. And this fusion lead patch will do exactly that. Next, I grabbed a polytone, and after going through a bunch of the patches, I ended up on the modular S&H pad patch, which sounds like this. I really like the movement that it adds, and I think in the context of everything layered together, it'll sound super cool. I'm gonna stop here for now, but here's what all of the new elements sound like layered with that original acoustic guitar part. Now we can move on to layering with those original synth pad chords. After checking out a bunch of patches in the Thor Polysonic synthesizer, I found this ethereal strings patch, which sounds like this. I think I'm just gonna EQ out a bunch of the highs and lows, so it's just kind of those mid-range frequencies. Super simple, super subtle, but it'll layer really nicely. And for the final layer in this synth pad section, I went into the Europa shape-shifting synthesizer and found this Mars Communique patch, and it sounds like this. I think I want to play this one an octave down. And then I'll EQ out some of the lows. Probably some of the highs as well. Similar to the modular S&H pad that I used previously, I just really like the movement that it adds, and I think it'll just add that extra bit of energy when layered all together. Okay, so I'm ready to start arranging, and once I get the basic structure figured out, then I'll go back in and add all of the little kind of finishing touches that I need to make this beat complete. Like I mentioned before, I want the beginning of this beat to be pretty sparse. So I'm thinking probably just the guitar and then the voice's aha patch will be pretty good for the first 8 bars. And then I'll just click and drag up here to loop them. And then after those first 8 bars, I think we bring in that original synth pad, which is the breathing brass patch. And then right after that is the drop where everything comes in. I'll loop all of this for 24 bars. And then I think it should just end with the same things that it started out with, that acoustic guitar and then the voice's aha patch. I definitely want to add a riser going into the drop. So I'll go into the browser, search for a riser, and I've used the mod wheel noise riser before, so I'll add this one. I'll draw in a clip, add a note, and then if I go into the actual rack, I will automate the mod wheel, and that'll create the actual riser sound. I'll add a couple extra sound effects. I found this really cool patch called Flute Quartet in the Layers device, and then added a Ripley space delay on it so that when you play it, it sounds like that. I want to record something in real quick. And then in the DigiEffects A patch of the NNXT device, it's a bunch of sound effects, and I really like this owl sound. So I'm gonna record that in too. And then I think the last thing I want to do is add a little counter melody flourish. I'll let the first 8 bars of the drop play, and then I think I want it to come in for those next 16 bars. I'll grab a layers device and then sort for synth patches and synth leads. And I've used this game trill patch before, so I think I'm gonna run with this one. I'm gonna mute the wave noise. Let's record something in. And that, everyone, is the beat finally done. But to prove that this beat could actually fit on a Pink Pantheress album, let's grab one of her acapellas, toss it on the track, and see how it sounds.
We have a day prepared, it's in your right, and don't forget. I know last time you had doubts, so you said that you couldn't make it, let's do later instead. Right now I think you're the cause of my grief, and I haven't slept well for a week. You are somebody that I want to keep, but you said it's not deep until the answer I can't even picture, cause it's never enough to see you smiling in my eye when I'm explaining the dark. It starts with you, starts with you. I'm obsessed with the idea that one day it breaks up, cause after that I know I'll never be as capable of love after you.
Reason 14 is out now, and all of the new features have seriously improved my beat making workflow. So if you haven't grabbed it yet, there are some links in the description of this video that'll take you right where you need to go to grab it. As always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Reason YouTube channel while you're at it. Until next time, peace.